I think sports is the biggest thing around the world, no matter what anyone says. You know what I mean? Sports has a massive impact on everyone. You know what I mean? So I definitely think we should be involved or speak out because we have a big voice as sports people because sports never stops. It continues to go 24/7, not just across the football and cricket and track and field, but there's so much other sports in the world that could make an impact if we all speak out. I think the kids now are more focused on track and field. So the fact that I didn't win because I'm so competitive, I was like, you know what, I need to do more, and that's how I really got into it.
So Jamaica has always had a very strong tradition. In fact, the Caribbean islands, even TNT and some of the other Barbados, of very strong sprinters. But in the last 20 years or quarter of a century, there's been a turnaround in Jamaica. I mean, Jamaica has become the powerhouse of sprint champions now across genders, men and women. What is it in the water of Jamaica which is producing such great champions? I mean, just the sheer sight of these two runners running under 10 seconds was something that I'll never forget. But there must be something which triggered off this ambition, this that I must become a sprinter.
For me, when I was so talented as a young age. You know what I mean? Um, it was just all about running at the time. But I never forget when I went to '07 was when I felt like was my first year in my senior level where I was like, all right, I'm in good shape. I didn't get injured this season. I'm feeling good. And that's when I started not worrying about every single thing someone would say because I wanted to be great for myself. You know what I mean? So I was focused on myself. And then I kind of got into having my family, finding persons who understood who I was as a person and was happy with me, you know what I mean? And wanted the same goal as I wanted to be great. And that we went along the journey together because my coach, Glenn Mills, I knew when at the start, Ricky Sims, which is my agent, at the start, my best friend, NJ, you know what I mean? My masseuse, all these guys were with me at the start before I start winning because they had the same goal and they wanted the same thing for me. I mean, I've always just tried to ignore the smaller ones, you know what I mean? But I've been in situations where people have approached me or and I know it's because of the skin of the color of my skin, you know what I mean? But I've always just tried to live positive and move past it, you know what I mean? But as you said, in America, it has really gotten so much bigger that now everybody is speaking out and telling their story about what they've been through, and it's a problem. And I think we have to speak out on it and really uh, try our best to really let everyone be aware and let them know how we feel as a people. You know what I mean? So hopefully in the future we can all come together and be a better world. In that era, everybody either wanted to play football or play cricket. That was the two sports that everybody, because that's what we saw as success, because all the athletes were doing that. So when we started now and started doing track and field, it kind of grew so big because in the Olympics, we in '08 we dominated so big that now everybody started looking at track and field. All the kids started saying, "Oh, you know what? I want to be a Shelly and Fraser. I want to be a Usain Bolt." So now more kids were focused on track and field, and at the boys and girls champs in Jamaica, which all the schools across the country comes together and compete, and that's where you see the best talent, and that's where they come from.
So you come across a very confident man.
I feel that was the moment when I went to coach and I was like, no, we need to figure this out. And he says, listen, if you do this, do that, you will be the best. And that's when I really turned my life around after that one race because I felt like I was in good shape and I really wanted to win.
The pressure part of it, how do you tackle? What is the advice you would give?
For me, Oh, and I figured out at the start that I wanted this for myself. You know what I mean? I've said it earlier that I put myself first. When I started out, I was always worried about what everybody else would think. Like, oh, am I going to let my country down? Am I going to let my family down? You know what I mean? And I said, you know what? Am I going to let myself down?